Hello everyone, Hector Mendoza here. I'm doing a video, plus I'm also going to provide a two PDFs. One of them is the Mavic Air 2 PDF. This is the user manual, plus I'm going to actually create a bunch of different um, manuals. For instance, if you go into your settings in your control panel, you have safety, control, camera, transmission, and about. And in each one of these things, there's a lot of things that you have to know. And so I created a PDF. It's like close to 100 inches long. It's 8.5 by about 11 inches long. Okay, so the top part is my iPhone. Okay, and I have the my iPhone connected to my computer and my remote uh, device for my drone, right? Okay, so these are the different settings that you have to be aware of. And I already have a PDF for safety and control. Okay, so the one we're going to talk about is the safety one. So if you notice, when you go to your settings, you have all of these different settings that you have to contend with. And uh, in okay, so what I did was I created a PDF that mirrors that um, those settings.
Fly
Okay,
cautiously.
so uh, if you notice, I have. I'm trying to deselect. Give me a second here. Uh, okay, so like I said, on the top is my iPhone. And so when you go to safety, the first thing it's going to talk about is your obstacle avoidance. Okay, this part right here, right? So on the PDF, if you notice, it looks just like that your monitor on your iPhone. Okay, so you have bypass, brake, and off. And on your iPhone, you would actually have to click on each one of them to see what it does. Okay. Now I've done that here, so you can see all three of them at the same time without having to click on your iPhone. So the one I use, actually, I use all of them, but usually I'm going to use the bypass one. And it explains right here. It explains what each one of them does. Okay, see right in here? Same thing here. If you go to brakes, it's going to tell you what it's going to do. And then you have a picture of what it actually is going to do. In other words, the drone, it'll stop right before it goes into an object. On bypass, it'll avoid an object, and then now if it can't avoid it, it's going to stop. But if you're using your um, off the avoidance off, then it'll crash into whatever you are going towards. So be careful. Okay. So now the next thing it talks about is your displayed radar map, and I created that right there. So I kind of put a space in between each one of these categories. Um, this display radar map is pretty cool. It puts it on the left hand side of your screen whenever you're flying of the map around your surroundings. So the next thing that he talks about is your flight protection. Okay, This is what's going to tell the drone how high
Fly cautiously.
that the drone is going to go, the distance, how far. Now, these are the settings that I use. And if you're a beginner, I wouldn't use these settings because this right here, from this is approximately 3 miles. And if you don't know how to use your drone properly, after it gets away about even 1 mile, if you don't know what you're doing, you're going to lose that drone. So I would put the maximum distance. I would say about 400 or 500 feet until I learn how to use it. Even 400 or 500 feet is a long ways because when the drone is 390 feet up in the air, it almost looks like a little ant up there. So this right here, this auto RTH altitude. So what happens here is that when you tell your drone to come home, which this drone that we're talking about has the capability, and I say that's the first thing you want to learn how to do is tell that thing to come home. I would I'd go like 3 or 4 or 5, maybe 200 feet, and then I would hit that button to tell it to come home. That way you got to know
Fly
the button
cautiously.
real good. Okay, so when my drone comes home, it is going to hover around 91.8 feet. That'll give me, if there's some big long trees or some towers, it'll avoid a lot of buildings and things of that nature. But you really don't have to worry too much about it if you have uh, that thing set to avoid obstacles. Okay, so now the next thing is it talks about is your sensors. Okay, so if you go to sensors, you have calibrations you have to do. Okay, so when you click on calibration on your iPhone, it's going to tell you to do certain things. And again, here, the good thing about this PDF, you don't have to go to your iPhone to figure, to look at all of this. You can do this while you're watching TV. You can make a copy of this PDF, put it on your iPhone, put it in your
Fly
iPad, and
cautiously.
every once in a while, just look at this. That way you understand it. So this thing tells you what the steps are going to be. So if you're not familiar with iPhone, with your drone, this be a good PDF for you to look at. So when you hit start, then it's going to tell you to do this actions right here. Okay. Now, we're not going to do all of that at this point. I do have some other videos that explains every one of the steps. And then you have your IMU calibration.
Fly cautiously.
Okay, and then on that IMU calibration, this is what you would do. And I highly recommend learning how to do this. This is real important because you want your drone
Fly
to be
cautiously.
calibrated. Okay, so this explains about that. And then so now it talks about battery life. Okay, so if you click on battery life, or it's called battery info, it's gonna tell you where your current battery, what it is. In other words, the one that we have on right now, this is how I'm able to view my iPhone. We're viewing my drone right here. So the battery is 39.8 Celsius, and
Fly
so
cautiously.
it's a
Fly
one. It
cautiously.
has
Fly cautiously.
1.34 volt.
Fly cautiously.
Uh,
Fly cautiously.
okay,
Fly cautiously.
So that
Fly cautiously. Fly cautiously. Fly cautiously.
okay. What's going on is I have my drone set up to let me know when there are helicopters, drones, anything in the air. It lets me know. So let's go back here. Okay, that's why he kept on telling me that an airplane just passed by us on top of us. I'm sitting in an RV, but it knows. So, and it also tells you the serial number of the battery and how many times this battery has been charged. Okay, these batteries only have X amount of times that you can recharge them. After that, they're no good. Uh, so let's get out of that. Now, the next thing it talks about is auxiliary. You know your lights. I think that's what they're talking about. I haven't messed with this, but your auxiliary LEDs, so you can tell it auto, on, or off. Okay. Now the last, so there's another thing called um, unlock zone. So what I believe this is if you don't have license, or let's say you don't get permission from FAA, and you're out there using your drone and you get locked out, that drone is gonna be locked out. You're not gonna be able to use it. So this is where you would go in and how you would unlock it. If you don't have a drone license, you might just want to forget about it, because it's a $5,000 fine if you're operating these things especially in controlled areas. And if you get locked out, it's because either there's a military, there's like a vice president or president near that area, um, or there's an airport, or there's areas that you're not allowed to fly that drone. So be careful. So if you have to go to unlocking your license, then I think I would just throw away because this drone is only like $1,000, but your fine can be very, very hefty. Okay, so now I think the last thing that you have. So you see right here, this oh, find my drone.
Fly cautiously.
What happens is, let's say that you lose your drone, and if you have your settings right, it's going to have a um, map. So let's say I lost my drone. I click right here. See on your phone, you click there. It tells you where your drone is. With my fingers, I'm enlarging this area. So what I'm going to do, well, I can walk away. Actually, I can. Well, I'm in an office, but I can walk away and it's going to tell me where my drone is if I lose it. You know, let's say that you're in the forest and it hits a limb and it's in a forest, you're actually going to be able to find it by going there. And to get out of this area, you see this little arrow, you will click off of that and get back to this. Now you have some advanced settings. So on advanced settings, what this is going to do is let you control how to use your uh, sticks. Okay, there's I think like three different ones. you have, let me see, let me see, let me see. Okay, you got RTH, descent, hover, and give me a second here. Um, well, there's actually a bunch of them, but
Fly cautiously.
so if you click on return home, a second here. So okay. So right here, that's what it is. Excuse me. Okay, you said this signal loss. So what you can tell it if it loses signal, it will automatically return home, and that's definitely the one you want. So whenever the drone takes off, it's called that home. It always updates the location. If you put descent, uh, I think that thing will come down
Fly
wherever it's
cautiously.
at. I've never used it, but I'm assuming that's what it does. And hover would be, it would just stay in place. Okay, so but you always want, that's up to you, but you always want it to return home. Okay, so that's the one I use. Let me see what else we got here. Um, then you got advanced settings. So on advanced settings, you're able to tell it different behaviors whenever uh, you have an emergency. What you can do is tell it to return home, or you can tell it aircraft, if you hit descend, aircraft behavior when signal loss will be changed after switch. Oh, excuse me. Okay, so aircraft behavior when, so when you go from one to the other, you're going to get this little thing, okay? This little sign. And let me see if I can change it real quick here. So, um, so advanced settings, and if I click on descend, watch what happens. You see right there? It says aircraft behavior when signal will be lost will be changed after switching. So when you hit confirm, then it actually it tells you what it's going to do. Okay,
Fly cautiously.
and so let's go back and I'm trying to read the monitor and this at the same time. So this area, I usually just leave just the way it is. So I hardly ever change this stuff. But I hope this PDF helps you. Remember, at the bottom of my video, you'll have this PDF. That way you don't have to turn on your drone to familiarize yourself with the drone. And I have, I have some other ones that will be on a different, uh, here, I'm trying to open it up. I'll have this on a different video. So see, this one here is the control one. Okay, so this shows you
Fly cautiously.
everything that you gonna do, all your settings for control. So it has a lot of stuff in there, and this is cool because you don't have to turn on your drone to see all of this. Let me make it a little bit smaller. See, this is all the different settings that you have. So if you want this PDF, you'll need to go to my YouTube channel and go ahead and uh, watch that video, or at least open it up so you can get the link to that one. Guys, thank you for watching my video. If you like this video, give me a thumbs up. I hope you become a subscriber. Have a good day. One thing before I let you go, I forgot to tell you about the PDF, the manual for the Mavic Air 2. So there's a lot of good information in here. Okay, so I'm providing this with that link. So this tells you everything about your Mavic Air 2. All right, guys. Well, now I'll let you go.